What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing tonight? Glad you all decided to take the time out this Thursday night to spend a little time with us while we talk Bears football. Tonight we got a special guest with us tonight. I know you guys are familiar with you all with this young man. He's been on podcasts in the past. This brother here is quite active as well on X, or better known as Twitter. But more importantly, this man knows football, especially Bears football. So I'm gonna kick this night off with my man D-Nice, as every Thursday night we do. But we also have our special guest, my man Sammo. Sammo, how you doing, brother? Good to see you.
What's up? What's up? Good seeing you too, Bishop, man. We ain't rocked it out in a minute. D-Nice, nice meeting you, brother. I watch y'all
Likewise,
shows,
brother.
man. Watch y'all chop it up. I don't think I ever caught y'all live, man, but I always watch y'all afterwards and check y'all out, man. I see y'all doing y'all thing over here, talking that
Yeah,
good talk, man. Very
yeah,
exciting
we
season,
appreciate you being
man.
on, bro.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate the invite, man. Looking forward to chopping it up with you guys.
Well, looky here, man. We're gonna get right to it. As you guys know, there's been a lot of activity during the free agency. We know of a lot of the different moves that the Bears have made up to this point. Especially what, not even 48 hours ago, we seem to have us a returner slash wide receiver, um, which was I'm gonna be very honest. I did not see this move taking place, to be quite honest. And that's where I want to get started. I want to ask you guys, starting out with you, D Nice, was this a sneaky move or what by Poles?
Very slick by Ryan. I mean, yeah, very slick by Pose, man. Very slick because we had word that Rondell Moore and Nicole Hardeman was coming into the building for a visit. Then next thing I hear, one guy signed with the Packers, and I think the other guy signed with someone else. And here
Vikings.
comes Devin Duvernay. Gotta love it. Very slick move. Real savvy, man. You know what I'm saying? Pose continues to do his thing this offseason. He's doing, you know what I'm saying? They're doing a lot to make up for the mistake they made last year, man. And, right now it's looking good. Now we got to put it on the grass.
Yeah, absolutely. Samo, what you think, man? Was this a sneaky move, or did you kind of have this on your radar?
Man, I don't think any of us had it on our radar. I'd be lying to you if I told you I had it on my radar. I know we needed a return specialist. I thought it would be covered in the draft. Never thought that we would be signing a Devin Duvernay, man, a dude who has two Pro Bowl appearances as a returner, who has some upside as a receiver, man. You know, when he first started his career in Baltimore, he was their slot receiver. He was getting 400-500 yards
Mm-hmm.
a season. So man, I think it's a sneaky good signing, man. And Ryan Poles putting himself in position for this draft to not to cover all needs and not have to need anything. That's what it looks like. We don't need anything. It's now open, and we got a lot of flexibility now to do whatever you want and just pick that best player available.
Facts,
Yeah, and I'm
facts.
glad you touched on something, Samo, because that was going to be my next question, actually, which is with the addition of Duvernay now. Do I'm gonna be honest. Watching Ben Johnson's offenses evolve over the past few years when he was in Detroit, knowing now that he's like they've pretty much sold up the offensive line. At least we have our starters in place. The interior of our line is solid, and then we've added some other pieces. But when it comes to Duvernay, I think, and I want to get you guys' opinion. Do you foresee a larger role in the offense for him, or is he just really being brought here to be a return specialist? D Nice, what you think?
I think the initial process was for him to come in and be a return specialist, but he's shown the capability to be a Swiss Army knife because I think his best year with Baltimore is when they had a lot of injuries as far as the receivers are concerned, and he had to come in and fill multiple roles for those guys, rushing the football and also catching the football, catching screens and things of that nature. So he has the ability to fill in and be a Swiss Army knife, but I think the initial thought is for him to come in and be a returner. You know, if he has to do all that other stuff, it may be a bad thing because that means some guys that got hurt.
Okay,
Yeah.
Sam,
I,
what's your take?
I mean, and knowing Ben Johnson, man, and what he's done in the past few years, man, up there with in Detroit with Jameson Williamson, man, and all the different packages he's had for them. I can see them having a package for him, but not like a specific role where he's going to be on the field, over 50% of the time. But a package, of having him a few plays, five to 10 plays a game, maybe on offense, just to put him on the field, maybe even if it's a diversion, man,
Mm-hmm.
because the dude got speed. And he's the only wide receiver we have with that type of speed. So, and that speed kills, man. So I can see a package for him on the offense for sure. I don't think that we just gonna. I don't know. I don't think that Ben Johnson is just going to want to sit back and not utilize him. He'll find a way to utilize him. But I agree with D-Nice. Like his main focus has to be in the return game. We don't want to lose that at all. But if someone gets hurt, then he is a good receiver to fill in.
Hmm.
I don't know what this means for. I saw somebody just say something about Tyler Scott in the chat. I don't know what this means for Tyler Scott, but because we're still bringing in guys, and I'm sure we're going to draft another one. So, man, but yeah, I see him having a role or a package,
And
Now
now
some, some
on the
you
offense.
now
mentioned
some more
about in
sense.
the chat, they asking about Tyler Scott. I think this is a good opportunity, really, to add some competition. But I think it's also good to have someone like Duvernay in
Mm-hmm.
the wide receiver room for a guy like a Tyler Scott who can learn how to really play that slot position from a guy with speed. Because Tyler Scott's not a slow dude at all. He's got speed
Nah.
as well, but he's
Yeah.
just never been quite coached up. Because you recall, he's actually a running back converted to a wide receiver. So contact is not
Yeah.
an issue for him. It's just him
Mm-hmm.
really learning the route tree and how to get it, where to find the soft spots in the zone to get himself open and to be able to be available to make plays. I think he could. I think it can really bode well for Scott as well as having Duvernay because now you have two guys that you can kind of use interchangeably in certain
Mm-hmm.
cases. With you put him in the slot, put him out on the edge, jet sweeps and things of that nature. So I think it's a very smart move by Ben Johnson bringing him in. But I don't think this is much of a Ben Johnson call as much as a Hightower call. I
Yeah.
see where they're now, and I really like the fact too that Poles and Ben Johnson and them are paying close attention to all three phases of the game.
Yeah.
So I mean, man, look, that gumbo, the roux is just right. I mean, it's just right. Picture perfect in color, flavor. It's not burnt. Now he's adding all the ingredients too. So, you know, I can't wait, man. I want the draft to hurry up and get here so we can get to OTAs and training camp. I'm ready for the season to start, but I was like that last year too. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
pump my own brakes. You know what I'm saying, fellas? I'm gonna pump my
Yeah.
own brakes. But moving
Now,
moving right along with this whole topic, adding Duvernay, they also re-signed Travis Homer. So
yeah.
I just saw that look, D-Nice. So you got to what's your thoughts on that? What
Oh
was the
man.
reason for re-signing Travis Homer? If it's just for competition purposes, to be able to fill out the roster, and he may not still make the cut as they get through training, through training camp, or is there really going to be a role for Travis Homer as well?
Man, look, I was hoping that you was gonna tell me the reason why they did that. Now, I understand the Duvernay signing because Duvernay can play a role like Khalif Raymond played with Detroit. Because Khalif Raymond is a return guy, and Ben Johnson found packages for him. But as far as Travis Homer is concerned, I don't know. I heard somebody say earlier that Travis Homer is going to be the fullback because he is very good with blocking and stuff like that. But I don't think he's the guy that they're going to sign to do that either. So asking me, I think this is going to be another body to fill out this roster, you know. And I don't think he make it past the training camp, to be honest with you.
Okay. Fair. That's
And,
a fair assessment. Samo, what you think?
and I'm hoping he doesn't make it past training camp, to be honest with you, man. The dude is, I don't know, man. I don't understand the signing either, man. It didn't make sense to me. Uh, as a running back, he doesn't offer anything,
Right.
man. He don't offer anything as a running back. He never has in his career. So I'm guessing it's a
Mm.
special teams type of signing. But to give a guy $2 million to play special teams is kind of crazy to me too. So I don't know, man. I just don't see a real role for him. And that's my first time hearing about the fullback thing, but I don't even see him doing
Yeah, I
that
don't see
well,
him
man.
doing that.
Well, I mean,
The thing that I don't like about him is that the reason that I really scratching my head about it is because every time we needed him last year, he was hurt. Every time he was about to get an opportunity, he was hurt or he got hurt on the first play or something like that. So he's just not reliable. So
right.
why bring back a player that we can't rely on to stay healthy when we need him? That's my
Yeah, man. I mean, the best. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Two things I know he does well. He runs the screenplay very well, and he's very good in pass protection. Other than that,
yeah, I forgot.
but I think you can get some other guys to do
I
that.
was just getting ready to say. I mean, there's got to be somebody else
Honestly,
available that can do the same for a lot cheaper and a lot
yeah,
younger.
A lot younger and cheaper. Yep, you're right. That's what you get a UDFA for, right? You that's where UDFA has to step up. You identify a
Yeah.
player,
yeah.
UDFA that can come in and fulfill that role, man. That's what I would have done personally. And maybe they are going to bring in competition for him, so it doesn't guarantee him anything
Right,
about as far as making the team. But he got a damn good agent, man, to even get him the opportunity to come back here to Chicago.
It's
man.
either that, man, or it's the intangibles that we don't see that they see on a daily basis in terms of the locker room, in terms of practice, in terms of the veteran leadership that he brings to the special teams um, room. I mean, it's got to be a number of things, for the fact that this guy uh, has exercised every bit of 9 lives when it comes to uh, keeping his career going right along. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's got to be something that we don't
Yeah.
know about because we're not in Hallis Hall on a daily basis. But
Hmm.
at the same time, they do have to have a certain number of bodies. So why not have a body that you're familiar with, at least to get you through camp? And then if he
I get
doesn't cut it, then hey, it's all good. And
yeah.
that 2 million, that 2 million that they gave him is kind of that severance package of hey man, it's been swell, but now we got to cut you loose.
Yeah, man. And I'm sure he's a good guy, man. I'm sure he's a great guy. You know what I'm saying? He might be fun to be around, but as far as playing for this team, I think that, you know what I'm saying, that ship is sailed, man.
Well, we shall
Yeah,
see.
I agree.
We shall see. You know. So now let's transition to the draft, fellas, because
Hmm.
outside of adding some ancillary pieces to the roster leading up to draft, um, we're still sitting at number 10. So my question is this, and you're hearing all the different pundits and the mock drafts and everything where, of course, we have our strong fan base that wants, Genty, along with a certain member of this panel right now that really would like to see Genty in a Bears uniform. But with that being said, too, what if Genty is not available at number 10? Do the Bears do one of the two? Do they trade back, pick up a couple extra picks, and then go after either a D tackle, an edge rusher, or O lineman, or do they stand pat at 10 and take either a DN or a tackle,
Hmm.
preferably somebody out of a certain young man out of Oregon?
Hmm.
D
Um,
Nice, I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna hit you with that one. Go ahead, brother. I want you to, cause I see your wheels turning, them eyes looking like saucers, like Mike Singletary. So you thinking? So
yeah,
tell me what's on
yeah.
your mind.
I think 10 might be a little bit too rich for someone like Conerly. Great player, great left tackle. Nothing against him, but I think 10 might be a little bit too rich for him. But at 10, like I was explaining to someone, 10 is a great place to be. It's a great position to be in because you're still in a position where someone may want to move up to grab one of these quarterbacks, or you can draft your left tackle, or you can get one of the edge rushers. Both things are needs. Now, my thing as far as the tackle is concerned, are you bringing when you pick him at 10, you bring him in to be a starter? In my eyes, like
Yeah.
I'm not picking anything at 10 that's not gonna make an immediate impact. Me personally, but all
There
like
you go.
bringing somebody in at 10 talking about, hey, we can stash him and develop him. Nah, I don't want to hear that.
Right.
The person at 10 needs to come in and be a guy. Now I'm also cool with the trade back. Trade back, get a left tackle, get it like that. The options are the same, whether you pick at 10 or you trade back. But if you trade back, there's a couple of added things that you can add. You can add on to your options. You can add a linebacker, and you can also add safety. Now, if Genty's not there, or they don't really feel sharp enough about picking a left tackle, I'm interested in the safety for South Carolina, Emiori,
Nick even
because
worry.
it's definitely a need because we have some uncertainty in our back end of the secondary. With Brisker as far as the concussions, and even what I'm saying with Byard, like it might be a chance that before we get to training camp, Byard could be cut. You just never know.
Yep.
So Yuri, I'm cool with that, and we can pick Hampton in the second round. But you know, it's the plethora of options there, and I think 10 is a wonderful spot. People saying tight end, I'm not necessarily with picking a tight end in the first round. Period. Not this draft anyway. We have our tight end,
Right,
but
right.
yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, man, I agree with everything you said. That you ate right there, bro. I'm with you. As far as the Ashton Genty thing goes, man, I'm fine if we get him. I'm fine if we don't get him at that point. But as far as if we were to have to pick at 10, I keep saying the same thing, man. It has to be an impact player, somebody who's gonna make an impact this season. And if it's a left tackle, then he's the starting left tackle. And I'm not with drafting a guy who's going to be moved to guard and then stashing him for depth and talking about depth. Man, that's silly. That's crazy talk.
Hey,
You don't draft a guy at 10 and then stash him on the bench. Now, if we're going to get a good defensive edge rusher, or we're going to get a good defensive tackle, somebody going to be in that defensive line rotation, that's a whole nother thing, which there are a few players that I think that they could target at that point in time. But I think the ideal thing to do is to trade back
yeah,
at that
yeah,
point, because you get your trade back, you pick up picks, you pick up a pick or two, and they're gonna be some good players if you're moving into the teams. I think you can move as far as back as 20, to be honest, and still get a damn good player at a position that we want. Like there's
absolutely.
some damn good defensive edge rushers in this draft. I think one of those left tackles will be
Hmm.
there. One of the defensive tackles will be there. In the second round, I'm targeting a running back. I'm not opposed to Nick Eamon at 10 at all. Like that dude, he's gonna be a dog. And I said we should cut Kevin Byard. I thought we should have cut Kevin Byard when we made the other cuts to start the season, just because of his age and the amount of money that he's making. I thought that we can get younger and get a little bit better at that position, man. Even if we were to sign somebody in free agency. But yeah, I'm with everything that you just said, brother. You hit the nail on the head, man. But if we select that 10, it has to be an impact player.
Absolutely.
Everybody who telling y'all, we can get this offensive lineman and just stack the offensive line up. That's
It's
crazy
crazy,
talk, man.
man.
You don't see teams doing that. You do that later in the draft. That's what we have picks for later in the draft. We're gonna get additional. We're not saying not to get additional offensive linemen to stash for depth and things like that. But you can do that later in the draft. There's some damn good offensive linemen in this draft that'll be available even in the third round.
Mhm.
So
So I'm glad you touched on that, Samo, because I'm gonna bring it right back to you, but I'm gonna bring it back to you on this. You mentioned at 10 they have to be an impact player. So I'm gonna ask you. This is a twofold question. One, name an impact player that you feel can come right in and give us that immediate impact at 10. And in the event, also, let's say you decide, you know what, an opportunity comes because I think we got like 4 or 5 picks in the top 72. What
Mm-hmm.
if?
Yeah,
Just what if we can again, like I said, maybe if we trade back, can we? Is it possible to pick up 2 more picks within that 72 to really increase our opportunity to get what many would say in that first 72 are kind of blue chippers. These are guys.
yep,
These are guys that can definitely come in and start and actually contribute to a roster. So with that,
exactly.
give me your thoughts on that twofold question.
Yeah, just that second part first, man. As far as trading back, man, that's the ideal situation for to me, like you just said, because all of those players are going to either be impact players or they're going to be able to be key contributors to the roster. If we everybody from 1 to 72, I think if we can add another pick in between there, we have 4 right now. We can add one more or even 2 more, then man, we killing it. Man, we killing it because there are a lot of good defensive tackles and edge rushers in this draft. Running back is stacked. I think there's some good tight ends in this draft. There's some good safeties in this draft. Offensive linemen they got some really good offensive linemen, just not left tackles. We only got maybe 2 or 3 good left tackles in this draft right now. As far as what player at 10, I feel like is an impact player. When I think about impact, it has to be that left tackle, a starting left tackle right now. And at this point, I don't think anybody is worthy of that 10th pick, like D-Nice said, at left tackle. If Simmons was healthy, fully healthy, and ready to go, then I think Josh Simmons would probably be a dude that would be worthy of that pick. But as far as my guy Josh Conerly, who I have as the second best left tackle in this draft, well, probably the first if you really think about it, because he's the healthy one. I think you can get him at 15 or something, man. Get him a little bit further down the line. But so if I think about it like that, I'm looking at edge rusher or defensive tackle because those guys rotate. We just saw what the Eagles did in the Super Bowl. I like Kenneth Grant out of Michigan as a defensive tackle. I think good run stuffer. They have a lot of potential as a pass rusher. I think he's going to be a better pro than he was a college player. I think he could come in and make a really good impact on this team. And as far as edge rushers, man, I really like James Pierce, man. I think he is a toolsy dude, man. He got the speed, he has the tools. That he's also going to be a better pro. I think when he get a little bit more size on him, he's not good in the run game right now. But as far as pass rush moves and just the speed and the bend, like man, he got it. Like he can come in. That if I were to have to pick somebody right now, it'd probably be him, just because I know that he's gonna move the quarterback off his mark every time,
Okay.
man, because he's gonna get around the edge. He's gonna make the quarterback move, and he's gonna create plays for other people with his speed and his athleticism, man. And he got all the moves, man, already. He has all the pass rush moves down packed already, man. So that's a dude that I would probably go with, and then my second choice would probably be that Kenneth Grant, man.
Okay. I like that. Appreciate that. D-Nice, I'm gonna switch it up on you, bro. I'm not gonna have you dive into that. I want to go. I want to go back. So
All right.
let's just say, um, Genty is not available.
Uh-huh.
So, and we know we got to be honest. We need a running back.
Yes, we do.
And I'm not trying to poo-poo on Swift or Roshan Johnson, but
Mm-hmm.
from what we've seen with Ben Johnson's offenses, we need um, a specific type of running back, one that can get it. You know, run between the tackles, between the guards, but can get it, plant that foot and cut and get it. Um, who else do you feel can come in and be that impact running back for the Bears if they don't have the opportunity to get Genty?
For me, and what has always been, has been Genty and Hampton. There's a drop off after those two guys, in my opinion. Now you got guys like Junkins, and you got Henderson, you got Sampson, you got Caleb Johnson. You got those guys, but for me, Hampton and Genty, they are the one A, one B. Okay. Now I like Junkins, I like Henderson, but those guys played behind the best O line in college football. Okay, we seen Junkins at Ole Miss, still very good, and Caleb Johnson played behind a very good O line in Iowa as well. That's their trademark. They're road graders because they never have a quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's their
Yep.
thing to get it on the ground. But Junkins is number three for me. Junkins is number three for me, and Henderson's number four. So,
Okay.
if it comes down to it and we use up the first three picks to do whatever, then I guess I'll take Junkins. But after
Now
that,
you
because see, listen, I say Hampton and Genty because they are the two complete running backs. Everyone
got you.
else is gadget, or they got to be put in certain situations to be successful. Those two guys, you can put them behind anybody's line and they're going to ball. In my mind, in my opinion. Those other guys, they got to have this, they got to have that, they got to have this, they got to have that. And at number 10, because you hear people saying, oh, we need impact players. We need impact players. We want this, we want that. But everybody wants the impact player. They want every other position but running back, which is crazy to me because what that tells me is that you're not thinking for yourself. You're listening to the narratives that goes out there from these national pundits and the way the league decides to do their thing because the league has disrespected the running back position for the last 5 or 6 years now, if not longer. You know,
Yep.
I'm not going to disrespect the position because I realize how important it is.
Hmm.
And every team that has a stud at running back has success most of the time.
Yep. Yeah, you just look at what Derrick Henry just did for Lamar Jackson. You look at what Saquon just did for Jalen Hurts, man. You can't say that. I thought that this would be the year that the running back redeemed themselves and we understood
Well,
the value of the
well,
running
well,
back
look
this
at it
season.
like this too.
You're
Hey,
absolutely right.
Samo, but think about this. Um, McCarthy, what because he wasn't
Yep.
available. Look what that did to San Francisco's offense. They
Hmm.
Yep.
it was
Yep.
non-existent.
Killed their
You know
offense.
what I mean?
Another good point.
And
Yep.
then
Yep.
let's
You're
look at
right.
let's not look a guy that don't get enough credit, but is one heck of a runner, is Pacheco up in Kansas City.
Yeah.
That
Mm-hmm.
offense is that when he's
Yep.
clicking, that offense clicks.
Yep.
But
So
You're
see,
right.
this whole thing of devaluing the running back, I think this past season, especially season before last, and especially this past season, I would like to think has done nothing but added to the value of the running back position. I would like to think
Yep.
so because one thing for sure, you both have touched on this. The teams that the last four teams each had a running back.
hmm
The
Yep.
last two teams
Yep.
had a running back.
Mm-hmm.
and
So
this
if you
this
Yep.
think that you're gonna win games, meaningful games, those December, January, and that February game, if you think you're gonna win those games without a strong running back, or at least a running back core that can give you some diversity from that position to kind of always throw defenses off. You know,
hmm
um, me personally, I think it's been proven that the running back position is definitely needed. But with that being said, with the running back position, let's say, for instance, let's say the Bears do get an opportunity to trade back. If they're able
hmm
to trade back out of that 10 spot, but yet still able to get that impact running back? Do you and that running back is available? You don't know that running back is going to be available in the second round, but you traded back into the first. You traded back some in the first round. Do you take that running back in the first round, or do you shake them dice and see if by chance they fall into? Because I think we got like the seventh pick in the second round. Would that
Mm-hmm.
running back be available for that early pick in the second round?
You definitely taking a risk, and
Yeah.
because you don't think Kansas City is looking at the running back position?
Yep.
You don't think that?
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
if Genty or Hampton is the guy on your board and he's rated one of your top guys and he's available when it's time to get him, don't hesitate. Grab him. Because you have to trust your board. Y'all spent the whole damn offseason creating it. You know what I'm saying? You had him in there for you're bringing them in for a visit. You know, I'm pretty sure you're gonna bring both of those guys in for visits. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Because you have to. Because a stud running back makes your quarterback better. Kirk Cousins had his best season with a healthy Dalvin Cook. Josh Allen had his MVP season with a healthy James Cook. Daniel Jones had his best season with a healthy Saquon Barkley and had a playoff win.
And got paid.
Usually, Jalen Hurts run a Super Bowl with damn near 2,000 yard Saquon Barkley. There it is. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I see you guys. Appreciate y'all joining us. But to dismiss this position and to turn your back on an impact guy for a guy that you looking to develop is asinine. We have a top 10 tight end, in my opinion. Spending an early first round pick for a tight end is crazy.
No, I wouldn't
You
do it.
you mean to tell me that the Penn State tight end is more impactful than a 2,600-yard back? I don't give a damn who he playing against. Because he sure ain't had nobody blocking for him. But I'll stop. I cut my vent short. I'm sorry.
You
I
have
don't want to.
digressed.
Yeah.
Like I digress at that point. Hey, he right, man. Everything you say, preaching to the choir right now. And talking to me, because I agree with everything you said. There, man. I can't take up Tyler Warren, man, that early, man. First of all, he's less athletic than Cole Kmet at the combine. When we just saw his testing and his measurables, he's even a smaller guy than Cole Kmet. So, man. I don't see the appeal in picking the Tyler Warren that high, man. When I see a few other tight ends that I can get in the second, third round later on in the draft, I think we do need a second tight end, but I'm just not going to take one in the first round, man. But a running back, I probably would, especially if we trade back. Especially if we trade back. I'm taking Hampton. If Genty is gone and I trade back and Hampton is there, I'm taking him. Because like he said, if we don't take him, the Chiefs going to have him. And the rich can't keep getting richer now. We're going to allow the rich to keep getting richer. And you need that threat. You need that threat at running back to help your quarterback. Can you imagine Marion Hampton with
Caleb.
Patrick Mahomes, man? That's going to be crazy. I mean, because it's like pick your poison. Like which one you want to face? You want to try to defend his run or you going to defend his pass? We're going to eat either way. Like, but you're going to have to choose what you're going to defend. And we're going to run what we want to run at that point in time. So, man, that's what we need. That's why we need that impact running back. And like you said, D-Nice said, there's only three. I think Quinshon Judkins can be one of those dudes. I think he was underutilized at Ohio State. And when he was in Ole Miss, he led the SEC as a true freshman in rushing. So I think he has a lot of meat left on the bone, man. I think he can be a really good running back. And as a pro, especially under the tutelage of Eric Bieniemy. So I'm not opposed to if we miss out on Hampton in the first, I mean, at that early second, I don't even think he's gonna be there when
Well,
we pick in the second round. To be honest, like I can see a team trading up together.
Minnesota's another
That's how
team.
good I think he
Minnesota's
is.
another team that's a
I was
threat
getting ready to
too.
go there.
Minnesota.
You
But
know.
so let
Now
me
shout
let me
out.
hit you with this.
Uh,
Let me hit you with this. Okay, since we're talking about potentially being able to maybe trade back, if let's say we are in a position to do so, how far back should we go to assure that if again if Genty's not there, that we get Hampton? Do we go no further than 15? Because I mean, and who in the bottom 10 after the top 10 do you feel may have an urge or a need to move up into the top 10 to go get their guy, whether that's a quarterback or whatever they? Who do you think that could be a good trade partner to basically trade back and pick up maybe a late second and a third or a fourth, or a late second and a fourth or a fifth?
Cincinnati is definitely a candidate. Cincinnati and
But
Indianapolis as well. Those two teams.
but
Dallas.
D-Nice. D-Nice. Now you just said Cincinnati, and I was just gonna say before you even start talking that Cincinnati could be the team that picks
Yeah.
him, because Cincinnati can use a damn good running back with that quarterback, man. That's what they missing. They're missing a stud
Well,
running back. If they had a stud running
Yeah,
back, that'll
ever
take
since
them
Joe
to the
Mixon
Brown,
left,
playoffs.
yeah,
but
you're right.
Chase Brown had a heck of a season with them. So and
Chase
they
Brown.
want to throw the football. They not
Yeah.
really running the backs ain't really what I'm saying they thing. They want to throw the football around. But shout out to Dustin Jones. Dustin, I hear you. I've had a change of heart on Kelvin Banks, and I like him, but I'm just not interested in drafting. Because we have other picks outside number 10, and we can get a left tackle in the second round. We can get a defensive end in the second round. That could be our future as well.
Mhm.
But hey man, I guess they can say the same. I guess some people can say the same thing about the running back position. But I don't think past Hampton, those guys are true studs. I don't believe that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hey man, look, we didn't cover quite a bit tonight. I want to. I'm just like I said, man. I'm excited. I'm ready for the draft to get here, but be patient. And not get too overzealous about what's about to come. I'm just excited to see exactly the next moves, especially in the draft. Because I think once we start seeing how the draft begins to round out, I think that's going to be able to tell us a lot about this team, what the personality of the team is going to be, what the identity of the team is going to be, and I think it's going to kind of crack the door a little bit on potentially what type of offense Ben Johnson's going to design around Caleb. So on our since we're going to get ready to close, I want to hit you each with this, man, because we don't have an idea really what this offense is going to look like. Because we know I don't think we're going to see anything like what we saw in Detroit. Maybe some little remnants here and there, but I think because of the type of quarterback that Caleb is, this gives Ben Johnson an opportunity to be a mad scientist and really put some things together. So we're gonna go around with some closing remarks with regard to that. And my question to each of you in closing is this: what do you foresee this offense potentially being, and how do you feel Ben Johnson is going to craft some things to give us a completely different look than what we've ever seen, but more importantly, to really throw off opposing defenses? So I'm gonna throw this back at both of you guys, starting out with D-Nice. Actually, no, I'm gonna flip it. I want to start out with Sammo, and we're gonna end it with D-Nice. So Sammo, hit me with that, man. What you think?
Man, I just see this offense being dynamic, man. I think we're going to be able to do a little bit of everything. I think we're going to be like a pick your poison type of team. Like we're going to be able to match up well with different teams. I think we put ourselves in good position. We got the receivers. Now we just solidified the offensive line. Left tackle, we don't know what that's going to be like yet. And I still like Karan Amagaji, man. I think Karan has a real shot to solidify and win that spot at left tackle. So I think, man, we're gonna be a solid offense, man. I think, like you said, it's not going to be a mirror image of Detroit because we have different pieces at wide receiver. We got a different tight end. We're about to shore up our running back situation and just the capabilities of a Caleb Williams, man, who able to actually move and not stand there as a statue. I think that's going to just open a lot of things up for the creativity of Ben Johnson. Man, I'm looking forward to the season, man. I'm excited just like you. I'm ready for the draft to kick off tomorrow if it could. I'd just like to get it over with, man. It seems like it's coming so long away. Man, excited for this team, man. Like I said, the leadership, what excites me the most about this team, I just got to say before I go, man, it's the leadership that we bring it. We finally bringing some vets, man. I think it's good to have a young team, but it's not good having a young team without having good leaders, man, on the team. Guys who going to, teach these young guys how to be real pros, teach them how to practice. And, if you don't have a good coach and you don't have good leadership on your team, then that's why we failed last year. We didn't have a good coach and the leaders weren't able to do what they needed to do. I think they say that they were being held back. I think we had a Kevin Byard, who I think was a good leader on the team, but all the other guys are kind of young, man, or were here before and just never been led or taught the way to go, man. So having guys like Tooney on the offense and I got I can't think of his name, right? Jared on the defense right now, man. I think those are real two good leaders, man, to have on each side of the ball, man. I think that's gonna take us a long way.
Okay. D-Nice. Hit me with it, man.
I think we're truly going to see what we expected from this team last season. I think this is going to be a very versatile offense, multifaceted. We're going to be able to play any kind of way that defense try to game plans against us. We'll always have a counter. I think we're going to focus on ball control because we're definitely going to get a running back in there that can, what I'm saying, with these two backs, we'll be able to hand the ball off and get 4 yards a touch and control the ball that way. And we're also going to have a lot of explosiveness because if you run the ball well, that means the play action is going to work and we're going to get over the top. We've added some speed and I think we're going to add some more during the draft at the wide receiver position. So this is going to be a very multifaceted offense. Ben Johnson has a plan. It's not going to be just like Detroit because we don't have the same pieces. I think we may have better pieces, to be honest with you, than what Detroit has, because I think Ben Johnson had made the best out of what he could with those guys over there. I mean, Jameson Williams for sure is a stud. Coming out of Alabama and Ohio State,
Mm-hmm.
he was a number one receiver. He had it all: size, speed, and he ran great routes. But as far as St. Brown was created through his hard work and also through the schematics of Ben Johnson. So we got a stud at receiver with DJ Moore, and hopefully we have the same thing with Rome. But we know what we got in the tight end. He just didn't play a whole lot. Last year he didn't get a lot of time, so him and Caleb wasn't able to develop any chemistry, and I think that changes as well. Like Caleb's going to have the ability to work the intermediate part of the field and as well as the deep part and the short part. I think this is going to be what we look for last year.
Okay.
So I
Well, you
mean
know what, man? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I
I'm
don't
sorry. Go ahead.
I don't have deep concern with the way Ben Johnson's going to conduct this thing. I have the utmost confidence in it. And shout out to Kids to Canuck and James. I see y'all and the rest of you guys in the chat. I was venting. I wasn't able to shout you guys out because I was on a vent tour. I apologize, but shout out to all y'all in here tonight, and I appreciate
Man,
the one.
go ahead. You know what? Do your thing, D Nice. Show the love and pleasantries to the chat, man, because they've been active tonight, man. And I do not want to end the night without giving them they shine, they recognition, because again, they're the reason why we do this. So
Yeah,
this is their show. We just
for
happen to
sure.
host it and we get a
For
chance to
sure.
talk about it, but they're the ones that really be getting at it, and I love to see, you know, the chat and what everybody's sharing their thoughts. So give them their pleasantries, man, and keep it going.
Yeah, we got a special guest about to pop in, Kes the Canuck.
Yo,
Yo, what's good?
yo! I just came in to give these three homies some love. My brothers, I saw y'all doing your thing, so I had a couple minutes came through. Just wanted to say I love what all your brothers do, man. You know that I do. Y'all shut the show down, do
Likewise.
the darn thing, man. I just want to come through, give these brothers some love for putting in the work like the work's supposed to be put in. So there it is.
Appreciate you, Kes.
Kids,
Likewise,
what's
brother.
going on,
Same to
baby?
you, bro.
You know, man, I'm out there doing my thing, man. I saw y'all doing your thing, so I figured, you know what? Hey, man, Ben Johnson gonna do his thing, and
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm just ready for this draft to pop off, man. I can't wait. I think all the holes are, all the holes we were all worried about, man. They're all basically taken care of, and all we got to do now is wait and see where they decide to spend the capital. And straight up and down, I wouldn't, like I say, I won't be mad if they get a running back. I won't be mad if they get a DE, an LT. The only thing I might be mad at is an LB or a WR, and it's tough
Yep.
stuff, man. I'm not really checking for either one of those. But later in the draft, by all means, get all of them things, right? Even a
Yep.
Right.
safety, man. At M.N. Worry, even trade back, get M.N. Worry. I got no problem. So I'm so hyped and so stoked about what Ryan Poles did this time. He needed to Sammo. He needed to nail this one, bro. And
You
he
already
did.
know I was ready to get rid of him. I was ready to get rid of him. I was giving him so much shit on X, man, every day. Man, he redeemed himself. I wrote a post about it the other day. Like, all right, you know what? That man is
Gotta reel
redeemed
it back
himself
in.
for
They
me.
gotta
Like,
reel it back in.
yeah, like,
Yeah, yeah,
Hey
yeah.
man,
Sam said he's redeeming himself. So, because
hey,
I
I'm
was
gonna
I
look.
was right there too, man. I was like, okay, man, look, bro, you
Done.
you didn't just wasted 3 years, man. What's going
yep,
on? Yeah, I'm like, okay, bro, I
Man,
I got to get off this. I got to get off this bus because this bus is going nowhere, bro. You know,
right.
I felt like I was the only friend Pose had, man.
Yeah, you were. You
you
probably
probably was.
Out there, there's a
Cause I
couple
was
guys,
listen,
man.
bro.
Greg
I was
Gabriel.
gonna stay. I was gonna stay down with him, man. I wasn't gonna. I didn't want him fired, man.
Man, I was
Yeah,
done. I was finished. I
I
was.
didn't
I
think
was.
we would be able to secure a good head coach, man. That was the main thing for me about with him. I was just like his record didn't look good, man, to any head coach trying to come in. And the fact that Ben Johnson wanted to come here, man, I think that was a key piece. That was the first,
Sam, I think you're
building
nailing
block
it
right there.
because I have a feeling in like interview situation, him and Ben, it must have really come down to the Ben Johnson question he was asking. Because for a while there, he was sitting there saying things along the lines of, if I go to an organization, that organization has to recognize their failures, their shortcomings.
Yep.
Hmm.
I think Ryan Poles probably came to the table and said, "Look, I'm just going to follow my sword. I screwed up with the
Yeah.
last coach. I screwed up here. I screwed up here. I screwed up
Mm-hmm.
here. I need to fix all these things, and I think I can lean on you to fix them." You know what I
Yep.
mean? And
Yep.
if, in a situation like that, it's a little bit of a mea culpa, and that would have impressed Ben enough to come through. I thought Ben would have been like, "Yeah, no, I don't. I
I
want
can't
my
fuck
own
with it.
guy. I want my
Yeah.
own dude to come in here and work with
Yep.
me." But so far, so good. These two are working well together, man. I love it.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
love it.
It's
Sammo.
creative too. They're not just sitting back and waiting. It was creative, man. I think that they're trading for those players, man. It proved to be right on multiple different levels, man. Because those guards got overpaid in free agency too. So we traded away some late round draft picks for some damn good offensive players. And we got the center on the low for the low. We didn't overspend pay for him. We set our price, and he was offered more money, but he decided to come here. We didn't have to overpay him. So I think all of that stuff counts, man. And man, like I said, I'm just looking forward to the season starting right now.
I'm
Yeah.
glad we got something for Justin Fields at the end of the day. I don't know if anybody's really thinking about that, But
Man, look at
I
Justin.
mean, Tomlin turned around. He's like, I'm not even gonna play Justin. I'm gonna sit Justin down and make sure the Bears get nothing out of me. And somehow they flipped it. Poles flipped it into Jonah Jackson.
Yep.
Would you believe that? So now finally, ironically, in a situation where Justin ran it down and had absolutely no protection, he turned into the protection for the Chicago Bears at the end of the day.
Yep.
Gotta love
Absolutely.
it.
That's a good
Gotta
point.
love it.
That's a heck of a way to put it, kids. I
You
didn't
know
even
what I'm
think of
saying?
it that way,
You
man.
know what I'm
For
saying?
sure.
That's one hell of a spin there, brother.
It's
For
a
sure.
spin, bro.
He said it's a hell of a spin.
It's 360 degrees.
For sure. I have to applaud those guys, man. You know, all those guys from Ben Johnson to the guys up top with Pose, Cunningham, and even the McCaskies at this point, with Kevin Warren's lead, of course. You know, this has truly been a collaborative effort, you know, putting this thing together. And that's what's necessary to have success as an organization. Everyone has to be on the same page. And I think Ryan Poe's best attribute or the best thing he's done as being our GM is that he's always maintained cap flexibility. Some people called him cheap in the beginning, you know, but he's always maintained that if there was a move to be made, we had the ability to make it. Now, if we made it or not, that was different. But we have the ability to go out and get the things we want. You know what I'm saying? Get the players we want, get the type of players we want. And he knows how to strike a good deal, man. Now, everything else he had to learn. You know, he had to learn that you can't put the cart before the horse. He had to learn that, you know what I'm saying, you know, don't get too excited about all the fancy stuff, just build from within. He had to learn that. And sometimes when you're young, because people forget, this is a young guy.
Yeah.
This is not a guy that's been around, you know what I'm saying, for 40 years and just not getting his shot. He's a young guy, and he made a young guy decision with being a GM. All of them do it.
Yep.
There's not been a GM because Howie Rose, yeah, they won the Super Bowl, but they were about to fire him at one point.
He got demoted.
Recently. Yeah,
He
recently.
got called a chip with Chip Kelly and then brought himself back up. But
mistakes are going to happen.
Yeah, it's true.
Or misses, just flat out misses. You just flat out miss. It's going to happen. But he's always made sure that we had the cap flexibility to do what's necessary to get the necessary people.
And he said in one of those interviews, man, now he has direction. He has a coach that's giving him direction too, like right now. Even though Ben Johnson not a veteran head coach, he has some direction. He knows what he needs. He knows what he wants. And same thing for Dennis Allen on the defensive side of the ball. So now he has real direction. And he's not just, going and acquiring players. And then for the coach, now the coach is telling him
stop being nice. Stop being nice. We got more than direction. We have more than direction. And I've said this last year. And look, we got more than direction. We got coaches.
We got coaches.
We finally got. We have
actual. We finally got some damn coaches. You right.
Coaching staff, bro, on all three phases, and we got a front office. We finally have an organization that is now in the 20th century.
Facts.
And now a collaborative effort of being able to put strong minds together, even when they don't agree. They find that middle ground to make a decision that's best for the organization. So, I mean, I don't care what nobody says. I get it. This is the very first time that we've honestly have had coaches. Now, we thought we did before. And we had a used car salesman once, and then we had and don't get me wrong, I'm not throwing no shade on these professions.
Oh, you can leave that to me.
This is just my own little humor. My own little humor. Please allow me to be clear on that, because I would not mind being a used car salesman because they earn pretty good money. Look, I'm just saying with regard to how I'm not even going to go there. Look, the first guy we had when we had Trubisky, that dude was he lied on his resume.
Yeah,
he lied. and
But
then
but the lads
we,
were out there
and then with
kicking
the
ass.
last guy, we found out now that he was on the verge of he was getting ready to be fired. We always
Yeah.
get guys, man, that were on their way out, and we didn't find out about it until we put them out.
But
Yeah.
bro, this is why I was out on polls the whole time, because you got a guy who went to the Super Bowl and lost to Tom Brady in probably the most egregious fashion, but he went to the Super Bowl though, and he's on
Exactly.
your list of head coaches to select. You got another guy who went to the Super Bowl as well, who was on your head
Oh,
coaching list to select, and you select a lesser
the
known
nobody.
nobody from the coaches who ain't
We didn't
been
even
to
know about. Nobody ever heard
the
of.
playoffs.
Well, he was actually hired before polls. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah, that
He was
is.
really hired before
They
polls.
wanted him
Polls
before.
Probably
came
Yeah.
in and interviewed him and said, "Okay, we have similar philosophies. We'll try to make it work."
Well,
Oh
I would.
yeah, and we
This is my
share
thing.
agent.
I would have came in and dead that. I would have dead that right away. No. Y'all just hired me. Thanks. I'm glad you did your interviews. That's cool. I'll look at these guys. I will re-interview these three guys and see if I like them. If I don't like them, we start the damn thing all over again. I don't care
Yep.
what time it is. This is my job. This is my ass on the line. That's
The
me.
Vikings got O'Connell after we
No, I'm
got
with you.
afterward, way afterwards, right? If
That's
he
what
could
I'm
have
saying.
interviewed Kevin O'Connell, we possibly could have
And
had
look,
Kevin
and look
O'Connell
at
as
what
our
he's doing
coach.
in Minnesota. He's tearing it
Yep.
up over there with lesser knowns once again. And
Yep.
we selected. I don't like the Nagy selection is one thing, right? Nagy, like it was one thing, and even when he came in here year one, it kind of worked out. I got to give him that. It was a nice season in 2018. It really was.
It
Mhm.
was
Nagy looked,
fun.
Because of
Nagy
the
looked
defense,
special.
though, but it was because of
You're
the
right.
more so
You're right.
because of the
You're right. You're right.
defense.
It was
You
Vic.
got
It was
Khalil
Vic.
Mack came in,
It was
he
Vic.
ignited a defense that was already good,
I'm just saying, it looked nice in 2018. After
It
that,
did.
things went the other direction.
For
But this
sure.
guy coming in, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I had never heard the name Matt Eberflus before in my God-given life.
Never.
Up until he was announced, I'm serious. Up until he was announced as the head coach of the Chicago Bears, I never heard of this guy. I was like, who? I had to go Google this man.
And talk yourself into him, right? And we all talked ourselves into it. Oh, yeah, he good, man.
I'm not
He
sure if
ran
I
a
even
damn
get
good
that.
defense. It's Lovie Smith defense too. Okay, yeah, this might
Yeah.
work.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I did talk myself into it after a while. I did.
Yeah, I know. I talked myself into it. I'm not gonna lie. I talked
Yep,
myself
we
into it,
all did.
and
It was
then I
more
wanted to punch myself.
for me. It was more of a All right, let's see what happens. Okay, because first of all, like I heard of Eberflus, but it was more from the Cowboys and his system. This whole hits philosophy thing. I heard about that, and
Which was a lie.
yeah, and the whole cover two situation. It kind of brought back some nostalgic vibes. Because of
Yeah.
Lovey and
Yep.
things of that nature, and that kind of gave me the motivation to just say, all right, let's see what's up.
You know
Okay.
where we all went wrong though with Eberflus really was when he came in and he was like, "Yeah, man, Rod Marinelli was my guy, Rod Marinelli," and like just the other day, I totally pushed it out of my mind because I'm not a Detroit Lions fan. I'm just
Mhm.
gonna lead up to the obvious. Rod Marinelli is the guy with the zero burger for a
Yeah.
season. That's Rod Marinelli, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
he came in and was like, "Oh, Rod
yeah.
Marinelli this, Rod Marinelli that." Oh, really? Your guy's the guy who went winless? Oh, snap.
Over
What
everything.
we headed towards it, and look at what we got out of him. So,
Mhm.
man, coaching matters. I'm glad we got Eric Bieniemy, we got Dennis Allen on the D. This is gonna be some kind of like it's gonna be some things here, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed with what he's put together. And him coming out, Ben Johnson coming out and saying, "Yo, I didn't put, it's not a group of friends that I put together this time. I put together like,
Yes.
the Avengers basically. I'm
Yep.
ad libbing here at the end, but he did, and those guys are going to give him guff when guff is required. And I think that was part of the failings of the last coaching squad.
Coaching staff. Yeah.
You know what I
It
mean?
was.
Too many
Everybody,
friends.
too many yes men. Too many yes men. And like,
Yeah.
you
We
get
have we have a staff full of former players.
Yeah, that too.
That makes a hell of a lot of difference. You know what I
And going
mean?
rather well.
These guys can relate to the guys that's wearing the helmets and the pads every day. You know, they're not too
Credibility.
far. Yeah, they're not too far removed from the grass.
Yeah,
You
Right.
know what I mean? To
yeah.
the
And they
point
understand
where,
how to develop players too, man. That's the problem.
yeah,
We haven't developed any players, man, in the past
30 years.
8-10 years. Like, yeah, we haven't been developing
Oh
players, man. And
man,
people
like
talk about the offensive line not good. Yeah, we drafting players, man, but we're not developing them. Like some of
yeah,
these
we
guys
don't.
probably could have been better. Like these defensive linemen that we took, man. Even with the Javon Dexter and what's the other guy? I can't think of his fucking
Lou
name.
Pickens.
Pickens, like, man, we crisscrossed them. I felt like, man, we stifled their careers, man, because we put one guy at 3 tech and the other guy at nose tackle when they really both played. The other guy played nose tackle. Pickens was the actual 3 tech, and Dexter was the guy who was better suited to play nose tackle at that point in time as a 2-gapper. So, man, it just all the shit that we were doing just wasn't making sense, man. Which is why we weren't developing players. Which is why we were fucking losing games, man. I think we were drafting players that could have possibly been really good. We just weren't developing them. Like, and we didn't have anyone for them to learn behind either. We didn't have any veteran players for them to learn behind. So that was like a recipe for disaster.
Yep.
Yeah.
That development piece drives me crazy because, like, you know, just the other day we let go of Jack Sanborn, and it was just a cut.
Yep.
Like straight up and down, he's a starting caliber linebacker in this league. I ain't saying he is, you know, even
No
TJ
Pro Bowl or nothing like that.
I'm not saying
Right.
that.
The one player we did develop.
We should be able to get we should be able to get some level of draft capital for a player like this. You know what I mean? We should be able to get draft capital for a James Daniels. We should have been able to get draft like there's a laundry list of guys that were at least semi-developed that we just cut bait on and get virtually nothing for. So I'd like to see this team finally turn into an actual football factory and start pumping out some product that is sellable on the market that they can recoup and use to build the team further. We're just cutting bait on guys after draft, and it's painful to watch. Like to be honest with you, everybody else develops talent, trades it off, and gets a little something out of the effort that they put in. Bears don't, and I think that's about to shift.
Well, I mean, like I've been on record to say that development is on the player.
Fair.
What coaches do, coaches tell you what they need from you, and what they need from you as far as a team, from the team's perspective, and you have to go out there and execute. But for you to develop as the player, you have to watch film, you have to do your work on the grass, and outside the grass consistently. Because people laugh at me when I say development is on the player, but the proof is in the pudding. Because you have players that come in immediately and boom, they have it right away. You know, and then you have sometimes I just believe the Bears have just drafted the wrong guys at time. Because there's any guy that makes to the NFL is a good player, but there's just levels. There's levels to it. And you have to, as the player, you have to seek the knowledge that you need to go out here and be who you need to be. You have to go out here and do the work as a player.
I agree with that.
Like
I agree
Ray
with that. The only thing I say is the player needs the guidance from the coach. Like, I don't know how to come in and study film. Like, it's up to the coach to teach me how to study the film, to get and teach me what to look at. You know what I mean? Like, what to look at. What am I looking for? What am I paying attention to? And then it's on me. I agree. It's on me to, take what he's giving me and take it a step further. Like, I got to go home with this iPad every night and make sure I'm putting in that extra work to make sure that I'm prepared for the games. I agree with that. I just feel like our coaches weren't preparing the players, and then we didn't have the leaders in those rooms to teach them how to be pros. Like this is what you got to look at film when you're watching film. Like the DBs, for example, they all said Eddie Jackson was the film guy. Like Eddie Jackson all taught them how to watch film, which is why all these damn DBs were developing. Like that's the one position that I thought we were doing a good job of developing, because they had a good coach who was teaching them how to watch film and developing them. And I thought that it looks like they were putting in the work. They knew what to look for and they were prepared in every game. as far as the other positions, especially the defensive line, like the defensive line and offensive line, man, have been suffering from poor coaching for the past probably 10 years, man. Just
Well,
I
think of
don't
it
think they
this way.
had proper. I don't think
Well,
they
think of
had
it this
proper
way. You
direction.
can't you
yeah,
can't develop anybody when you don't know what your identity is.
that's
You
When
true.
you
go.
don't have
That's
when you
true.
don't have an identity, you no identity, no direction. It's just that simple. So how can you develop anybody? You know,
Yep.
the only reason why the defensive backs got developed was because John Hoke was just that stern of a coach that he said, these are my guys. I'm responsible for my guys, and my guys are going to do their job. Now, everybody else, y'all handle it, y'all handle y'all areas, but my guys are going to be prepared.
Yep.
We didn't have that on either side of the doggone football. I mean, if you really think about it, you touched on it, Sammo. It's been over 10 years since we actually had some true development on the defensive line. So let's be clear on something. What position has the Bears actually developed in the last 10 years plus?
Yep.
Think
Man,
about it.
I think
Name
he.
me a player that
I
has
think
that has been drafted by the Bears and has had an extended career and
there's
still here
only there's
outside of
only
Jalen Johnson. And he put in the
you,
work himself.
you know what I'm saying. There's
Yep.
only
He the
one.
only one. That's
You
the only
named
one.
it.
Maybe Cole Kmet. Maybe Cole Kmet. Maybe we
Okay,
can
I
say
take
Cole
that.
Kmet too, because Cole Kmet, I think has developed well.
I take that.
That's it.
Yeah.
So like
That's it.
he
Other than
has
those
and
two.
then regressed last season. So I don't
Yeah.
know if I can blame the regression all on him. It's probably much more so on
The coaches didn't know how to
There
use him.
you go.
on that
Caleb.
shit,
I'll be
the
honest with you,
offense.
and or
Yeah.
Stu. But
It's on the coaching, man.
yeah,
Yeah,
Like,
that was
Yeah,
on the
they didn't
coaching.
know how
I
to
think
use
Cole
him.
has it, man.
yeah,
He's
commit.
better than what he's shown, man. I think he's
Absolutely.
even better than we've ever seen too, man.
And
I think Cole. I
he
think
even
Cole.
said it. He even held himself and said, "Hey, I didn't do I didn't do my job. I'm pointing the finger, and he said I got to point it back at myself too. I didn't do my job."
Mm-hmm.
But if
I
you really
respect
think
Cole
about
for
it,
that.
man, we haven't developed nobody.
No,
Right.
Nobody.
Right.
Jalen Johnson developed himself
Yep.
and put in the work to be arguably in the top three, if not top five defensive backs,
yeah,
even though he's not paid like it, which in all honesty might be a good thing for us at this point, you know. But trust, he's what he's entering is he entering the new year of his new contract, or is he entering the second year of his new contract
So
this season?
this is
Second
year
year.
2, right?
Yep.
So it's actually the most expensive it's going to get. From here,
Yep.
it goes down quite significantly as far as the Bears are concerned. So 2026, retaining Jalen Johnson is a brilliant idea. If they let him go, I believe they bring back somewhere in and around, I think it's between $9 to $12 million if they decide to cut bait on Jalen. I just don't see them doing it.
No,
See
I
them
don't think they will.
price
I
tag.
just think what may end up happening, kids, is if he balls out this year like he did this past season, then is he? Do you give him not so much an extension, but do you give him a little bonus and say, hey man,
Well, we might.
we recognize that you're the 11th highest paid DB. We appreciate it, and you putting in that top 3 type of work. So we gonna slide you a few extra mil, man. Just for doing that.
He,
And,
he
and, and
probably
let's
has
keep balling.
incentives baked in, right? He like, especially by way of interception. I can
Yep.
guarantee you he's got incentives. 'Cause that's the one thing they wanted him, like they wanted to drive him to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
So he must have incentives
Yeah.
there. But don't like the only reason that they wouldn't do some level of restructure with him and extend is just because they spent a lot of money this time around. Like they just spent a lot of money, and Kyler Gordon is going to get paid. Like y'all know this.
Oh, they better.
That kid works.
Yeah.
Like he works. Like I
They got
love
to get
Kyler.
that
Man.
done before the season starts too.
No,
Because
I don't think
I think he's gonna have a damn good year in a Dennis Allen defense. I think Jalen Johnson about to have a damn good year because now they're gonna allow him to travel. Now we're gonna actually play some man to man and some.
I think Stevenson gonna ball out, man.
I do too. I love Stevenson. I don't know why the fan base is so down on Stevenson, man.
Because he's
I
a
know
jerk,
ain't
man.
that ball
He's a
playing
jerk, but
play.
sometimes you need. I'm serious. But sometimes you need a
Well,
jerk in that role, like in the CB role and
well,
in the WR role.
Right.
You need somebody to get in somebody else's ass. You just do, and
He
that's
needs somebody
why
to get in his ass, and we got somebody. We got Al Harris to get and keep a foot on
I
his
yeah,
love
ass. Keep
Tyreek.
That's all we
there you
need.
go.
That's all
Yeah,
he needed, man. He a little immature, man, but he
that's
got the
it.
skills. The dude has the skills.
Nah, don't no doubt. He's a very good player.
Damn
He's a
good
very
player.
good
Yeah.
player, but he had to get the other side right.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He had to get the mental part of it correct.
Yep.
And while y'all mentioning players, and this might sound crazy, but I'm looking forward to the season that Tremaine Edmonds is going to have. I seen someone in the chat say
What's that mean?
earlier that Tremaine Edmonds should be cut. I don't know. I don't know if it was you or
No,
not, but
I'm joking because
oh,
I expect more from Tremaine, but at the same time,
I think Tremaine was put in a situation where he was the lead guy in the passive
Yep.
defense.
well said.
A passive defense. Yep.
You
You're
know,
right. That's
he was
it.
the leader of a passive defense.
You're right though, Darius. If this defense has
Good
teeth,
point.
if they're attacking and the secondary can do
Right.
what they need to
That's
do,
who
he
he
Yep.
can
is.
play free. So
Ooh.
That's who he
And,
is.
and imagine the
That's who he
havoc that
is.
he can cause playing freely with that size and speed that he has, man. And the dude got a wingspan. I mean, I like him, man. And I'm, you know, I just felt like he wasn't used properly last season, man. And
Yep.
again, a defense that didn't have a clue of who they were. They didn't have a clue who they were. So nobody was really used properly. TJ Edwards, the plays he made was more instinctive than anything because hey, they didn't know. They was just out there.
Well,
They was out there.
if you look at the framework of the defense, right, especially without a pass rush, it was a patient defense
Yep.
to where it was a bend but
don't break.
don't break
Yeah.
Boy,
defense,
it
meaning
was it was
that
definitely some
okay,
bamboo, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
right. So the quarterback in this defense, the quarterback should always have pressure, either on the edges or the middle,
Mm-hmm.
which forces the quarterback to make a mistake. So in this cover two zone, you're sitting back waiting on the quarterback to make a
Yep.
mistake.
Yep.
But the guy has no pressure on him. So even the best DBs can only cover for so
Yep.
long.
Especially in the
A
zone.
zone defense is going to always have holes in it.
Mm-hmm.
But if the quarterback has time and is patient enough to wait on the receiver to find the holes in
To
the
pick
zone,
you apart.
he's
Pick
going
you
to hit his
apart
spot.
all day long. That was our
You
problem.
know.
We couldn't get pressure. We
So
couldn't stop the run. We couldn't stop the run.
in
That
the
was tough.
patient defense, like we're playing off the man, like we had corners playing off ball. Like, come on,
Yep.
man.
On third and short. On third and short. We 5 yards,
Right.
7 yards behind. Like, what are we doing, man? Like, what are we doing? And even the defense, you could tell the way that they were being coached not to play aggressively too. Like I would do all 22 on Mondays on another channel, man, and we would watch Tremaine Edmonds, man. They never came downhill, man. They never read the guards. Linebackers usually read the guards and come downhill and run to the play and run to the running back. We never saw that. We never saw him shooting gaps or any of that stuff. And I'm like, man, at one point, I'm like, man, it's not him, man. It's got to be coaching because there's no way a coach is watching him do this on a weekly basis. Like we watching the tape, they watching the tape and saying,
Right.
Tremaine,
Right.
go downhill right here. And he's not doing it on a weekly basis and they okay with it. I'm like, so at this point, it's just the way that they being taught. And it's because they're afraid of the play action play. So that's what it's saying like to me. Like we're afraid of getting beat with the play action. So just wait and then react once you know. And which made us a step behind all the time, man. So I expect them to be a lot more aggressive this year. I expect our run defense to be a lot more solid because that's what killed our defense last year. Like we couldn't stop the run once Billings got hurt.
Billings went down. Like basically, Darius, you mapped out exactly what happened to the defense after the Washington game. Defense for the first 4 games was stellar. After the Washington game, I don't know what happened, but you just mapped it out. Like that's exactly what happened. And then top it off with Andrew Billings going down. Now nobody can stop the run either. It's problems all over. But in 2026, I think things are going to be a hell of a lot different. You got Grady Jarrett in that middle, wreaking a whole bunch of havoc. Who do you double team now? Do you double team Grady in the center, or do you double team Montez Sweat on the edge? I don't know who you double team, and then you bring somebody on the other edge, whether that's just a rotation between Deo and Austin Booker, and or a third defensive end yet to be named from the draft. That defensive line has gotten so much better over the course of a couple of weeks that I can't wait to watch it.
Coaching alone has made this team 4 games better.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Imagine if we had good coaching last year, we probably would have been an 8 or 9 win.
We
team.
should have been an 8 or 9.
We would have been in the playoffs.
Right.
We should have been.
We would have made the playoffs. The past 2 years,
Like
better coach teams. The past 2 years make the playoffs. We lost close games that we shouldn't have. The past 2 years that could have possibly put us in the playoffs. Both times we would have playoff winning records. The records to make it into the playoffs as wild cards. Both seasons.
I agree.
Yeah, the only unit that was responsible for violent behavior, where they had the responsibility to display violent behavior, was the D line,
Mm-hmm.
and that's unfortunate.
It is.
You know.
Yep.
You know, Dennis Allen's gonna change all that though.
Yep.
You know, now it's gonna be some times where Dennis Allen gets a little too blitz happy.
Yeah.
You know, and he's gonna give up the big play, so I don't want nobody to kill him because it's coming.
Hey, it's coming.
They
don't know what
You gotta put out that disclaimer
They
now.
ain't even ready for that.
I live in NFC South territory, so I've watched the Saints because I'm here in Atlanta. I watch the Saints, Falcons Saints games is must see TV down here. So you know, I watched the Saints a lot, even when I didn't want to. I had the ability to watch these guys, and they under Dennis Allen they were very aggressive, almost too aggressive, and they gave up a lot of big plays, especially when you know when he was had one foot out the door, you know. But one thing you can say that Allen gives the responsibility of violence to everybody on the field, and that's something that's totally different than what Eberflus is trying to implement in Chicago.
Yeah, facts. Which is why I was scared of the Kevin Byard too, man, because he is very aggressive on defense, man. And he puts those safeties in man-to-man a lot too, in man-to-man situations.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if Kevin Byard, man, he lost a step. I think that's why he struggled in Philly. So that's why I was like, man, I thought that they would get rid of Byard, but obviously they think that he's gonna be able to handle it.
You and me were watching different football games last season.
Yeah, I think
I love
Byard.
I did.
I think Byard's responsibility now, he has lost a step, but he can make up for that lost step with his mental.
Yeah.
Very, very heady player. His responsibility not only to play and be the best player he can be in a Bears uniform, but to also be a coach and a mentor. You know what I'm saying, to
Younger.
Brisker and whoever else they bring.
We got to cut him a little slack
Because
too, though.
listen,
Got to cut him a little slack too, because you got to think about it. He lost Brisker, so
Yeah.
you know, losing a guy like Brisker, now you having to kind of overcompensate in certain situations. You know, granted, now Hicks filled in pretty well, you know, as well as Owens, you know, but I mean, you're talking about two guys trying to be one guy in terms of Brisker.
Yeah.
So
Good point.
when you lose a guy like Brisker, you know, that kind of changed the way, you know, Byard had to approach the game too.
That's true.
He took some chances, he took some risks. You know, in some cases he got burned on a few, but overall, I'm with Kids. I was pleased with the production that he gave us, because considering what he had to work with.
Yeah.
and I'm gonna tell you, man, losing does things to people, man.
That's true too.
Especially when you're not used to losing.
Yeah, losing the games in the number of games in a row we lost like that.
Yeah.
Listen, man, them guys, man, they be like, man, shit.
It's hard
Look,
to motivate
You know what I'm
yourself.
saying?
Yeah,
It gets harder to tie your shoes up,
yeah,
man,
Look,
after
well,
yeah,
losing
hey,
12 in
bruh,
a row.
yeah.
they up here. I know I've seen it. They talked about how it got kind of tense in that locker room, man. Where Eberflus, man,
Yeah.
he gave his quick little speech after the game, and he had to hurry and run to his office
get out
because
of
Out of
them,
there,
them
yeah,
cats they wanted to get at that, man. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Meet me, bruh. Meet me in the equipment room, man. We need to lock the door for a moment. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
that's hilarious.
it got touchy, man.
There were points
Yeah.
As
last
it should
season
have.
where it was for me. It was there was only two men really playing defense. Three. I got it. There's four. You know what I mean? Like there's four guys really playing defense, and that's T.J. Edwards, Jalen Johnson, because I just can't count him out. Um, Kevin Byard, like Kevin Byard was making tackles in situations
He
when
was making tackles. He made 80 tackles last year. That's not his. He
he's
made
not supposed to
way.
be
He
making
made
80
way more
tackles.
plays than he should have. I
Yes,
give him that. It's the coverage for me. It was.
and
And,
in
and
that
Kyler
respect, I
Gordon was that
agree.
other player. Yeah.
And Kyler Gordon is the other player.
Gordon
Those players were
ball.
involved, regardless as to whether we were losing or not. They were doing the darn thing. And I like I'm saying, I had to, and like it's me and you, Sam. Like especially looking at how critical we were on Eddie Jackson, and his lack of tackling is
Yep.
absolutely. I don't
Night and
really
day.
want to tackle nobody. Really, I don't really
Night
want to
and
do
day.
that. Night and day, and that's
Yeah,
part of the reason why I'm like, yo, I got no problems with
that's
with
true.
Kevin Bart. Also from a cap perspective, looking at the numbers, they pay him $5 million to stay. They get $5 million to get rid of him. It's kind of a wash, and I think they need
Yeah.
him more than they do, you know, $5 million. Like it was about that simple for me when I really looked at the
But
numbers.
but kids, look at
Yeah,
this too. You named four players, and three of those players are defensive backs.
that's what I'm trying to say.
Three was defensive backs. The other one's a linebacker.
This is the only place where there's
Where's the
development.
other seven?
Yep.
All the development is in the DB room. That's all I'm saying. And like, let's get deeper now and even say that sneaky, like sneaky come up love to Terrell Smith, yo. Like I'm just saying, when things were a little bit shaky with Tariq,
Yeah.
Oh
Terrell
yeah.
came in there. You didn't even know it to say any kind of difference. So
Right.
that
Right.
room is being developed. Hopefully that continues. But now we need to push it down to all the other rooms and get a little give those guys a little bit of love and get them to grow up and be mature football players. So hopefully that's what goes down here in 2020.
And they were balling without a pass rush too, man.
Yeah,
That's the
man.
other thing. So imagine them with a pass rush. Imagine them with some. We they know it's a blitz coming, and they know they can jump some
Right.
routes at some point in time. So because we weren't blitzing a lot either, like man, we putting them out on islands, man, and they were holding up well. And that's how you know they were a very well coached unit, man. So man, it's exciting to see what's gonna happen with that group going forward. They got another damn good coach in Al Harris.
Ooh,
You see what his
even more so
his
now.
teams did exactly. They were ball hawks down there in Dallas. So man, I'm looking forward to seeing what we could do, man. That's why I say we got to get this D line up and humping, man. We just got to get a little bit more pressure on these quarterbacks, get that ball out a little bit more quicker. But we got the dogs in the secondary.
Yeah. And I'm gonna shout out Coach Rashard, man, offensive line
Oh
coach.
yeah.
He's gonna make a world of a difference with these guys. You're not gonna see a whole lot of guys falling on the ground and shit. You know what I'm
Man,
saying? Getting blown off now because
push
you
back
know,
into the quarterback lap.
yeah, like you know when you
Rest in peace, Coleman
when
Shelton.
Man,
this is this is what I learned, man. When you find yourself on the ground as an offensive lineman, it's not about your strength, your core strength, or your brute strength. It comes down to technique, and that unit has not been properly coached, and I think it changed with Coach Richard. I think this unit, I don't think Caleb is going to take as many sacks as he took. Well, of course, he's not going to take 60 sacks,
He better
but
not.
I don't. I don't even think it's going to even get close to that
Me
number
either.
this
Want to
year.
know why? Because we're gonna run
Because
the football.
30.
we're gonna run the
You know what
football.
I'm
Number
saying? That's
one.
number one. We're gonna run the
No,
football.
number two, they got an O line coach that's gonna come in and kick ass. And number three, Caleb is a year. He's another year
Mm-hmm.
smarter, and he know he's going to understand. Ben Johnson is going to teach them the importance of getting rid of the football. Not saying that you just throw that shit in the middle of the field, but just knowing when to say when.
Yeah.
And he
No,
gonna
be
protect them, man.
nice.
You got to coach
Ben
them.
Johnson ain't gonna be the one to tell them how to get rid of their football. That's what Eric Bieniemy's for. Eric Bieniemy is gonna have so much impact on the blocking schemes, the run game, but most importantly, helping Caleb identify certain things to be able to get rid of that football. I think we're not truly. I think we're underestimating the role that Eric Bieniemy is going to have on this
I'm not.
offense.
Remember what I was saying about Tariq Stevenson?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you need a jerk, man. So like that's
Yeah,
exactly what I hope he brings to the table.
Yes.
Somebody needs to be the devil's advocate in that, and you know what I mean, on that
Yep.
offense, and be like, hey, kid, what did you see there? What the f was that? No. We need to do this differently. You need to get the ball out of your hands. He can be the bad guy.
Yes,
Sometimes there has to be a bad guy. There's got to be a villain, and
and he's definitely
he's.
that.
Definitely. He's not gonna bite his tongue at all. He
I'm
don't even
laughing.
coach. He don't even coach quarterbacks. But you
No.
bet you damn right. He gonna have something
I
to
mean,
say.
I guarantee he's going to say that too. This ain't even my job. I don't even coach you. But
But I'm
what
not
did
about
you
to
see
watch
there?
this
You
shit
need to get the
happen.
ball out your
Yeah.
hand.
Yep.
Well, my job. Just tell me whose job is this? Damn it! And he would cuss that man out too. But
Yep.
I was so intrigued when they brought him onto this coaching staff, because that's the other thing that, like the dynamic between Allen and Ben Johnson is one thing. He now has a sounding board in that respect. You know what I mean? Like, you've been
right.
here, you've done that. Should I take a timeout here? Should I not? Little nuances like that. But
Yeah,
just by way of offense as well, he's got a bit of a sounding board in our guy Eric Bieniemy, man.
Yeah. Yeah, man,
yeah.
when they made that hire, bro, I was so excited. I was like, nobody sees the impact he's gonna have on this. I'm like, dude, forget about a title, running backs coach. I'm like, this guy is gonna have his input, and essentially, he's really, if you think about it, the elder statesman of in terms of an offense, but the fact that he had some input on Mahomes, who everybody wants to say Caleb is or has some traits of,
Yep.
who better suited to be in the building than the guy himself, who for what 2-3 seasons was calling plays for him and
Done
helping
that the
and
whole time.
involved in
No,
the
no, 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 no,
development of
no.
that young man.
Two Super
So
Bowls.
that allows Ben Johnson to really be the head coach while calling the plays,
Yep.
because now there's going to be certain areas that he don't necessarily have to be at during practice, that he can now know his position coaches can handle that, and he can kind of float around and touch on the areas that he need to and focus on what he really wants to focus on, which is designing this offense not just for Caleb, but for all the weapons.
To
And
win
and
football, man.
honestly, I look at it like this. Everybody look at weapons in terms of skill positions. Me personally, I think that we have 11 weapons. That offensive line is your initial weapon. And being able to establish a running game with your run blocking to get your guys some momentum and get them to getting that feistiness, to where if they feel like they're winning the line of scrimmage early on, what that's going to do to their pass protection when they start dropping back and throwing that football. People have no idea. And that's why hiring a guy like Bieniemy is going to be so key, because he was there when they suffered a little bit on the offensive line, and they had to retool. So he know what that looks like, and he also knows what seeing a guy like a Patrick Mahomes with his mechanics and things that he can help apply and give advice to Caleb on is going to be monumental over the entire season, from OTAs to playoffs. And I'm going on a limb and I'm saying playoffs. His impact is going to be key
You've
in
got
that building.
you've got 3 head coaching caliber coaches on that staff right there that we're discussing right now, right? So I'm impressed with what he's put together. We're just talking about those 3. There's Roshar, there's layers. Antoine Randall, there are layers to this game here.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And each one, if you peel it back, looks and smells pretty decent. So I can't wait to see what really goes down in this draft, because that's really going to layer things out. Other things to say, I'm actually excited for preseason because of that development thing we were talking about. I kind of want to see. I want to see Tyson Bagent. I know where I'm at, but I want to see Tyson Bagent get some opportunity, because maybe you might be able to develop him into some level of capital. Can't just sit on the bench. You can't. If he just sits on the bench, he's worth nothing for you. He's an undrafted free agent, which is fine. Develop the guy. Turn him into something that somebody might want. There's so many quarterback-hungry teams out there. Build him. Turn him into something. Give him a couple of shots. Let him shine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I'm looking forward to I thought you were gonna say you're looking forward to the preseason, because we gonna actually play in the preseason. I don't think we're gonna have the shit that we just had the past 3 years.
They gotta play. They gotta play in the
right.
season.
Like,
They gotta
man,
play in the
these
preseason,
guys-
man. We gotta build some continuity. You can't expect to build continuity
exactly.
during training camp. These guys are gonna have to play some
Yeah.
meaningful reps during
Exactly.
preseason. They're gonna have to.
Yeah.
You know, to where you're not using the first 4 games of the season to be your preseason. Actually get some work in during the preseason. So, yeah, you're still going to have those first 4 games, but you much rather, when that first game of the season, be that 4th game of your preseason versus the first game of your preseason, because you decided to sit everybody.
man, you got to win them
Yeah,
first 4 games, and then you can talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Yeah.
You can't just forfeit those games and turn them into training camp. Now you're 4 games down, right? Like, win them games. Be prepared for them games. And this is part of why I was upset with Ryan Poles last
Did we win
season.
the games
You're right,
last
Sal.
year?
You nailed it. You nailed
Did
it,
we
bro.
win them last year though with our backups? But because we were playing backups though, man, we just got to prepare ourselves to play, man. I think how we practice is going to be important. Like
that's
always
indicative.
prided myself on practicing the way I played, man. Like I had to practice hard, because if I had a bad week of practice where I'm just sat back, then I've had a bad game too. And that shit, that's how it goes, man. If you're not practicing hard, you're going to play the way that you practice. All that soft, not practicing hard, not being competitive in practice, everybody coasting. Like, I understand that, the NFLPA has rules against, being physical, but you can still compete in practice during the week. You can still prepare yourself. And especially in training camp, you have to take that time to compete, not only against each other, but in those preseason games matter. That's where you calibrate your body. You haven't played football in months, 6 months. So now you have to calibrate your body. You got to be prepared to take those hits. Be prepared to hit people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to prepare your body for that stuff, man. And even the recovery of your body's recovery even. So I always took that serious, man. I know that this coaching staff will too, because these are ex-players. These are ex-players. I know Ben Johnson. Like, man, you don't have the best offense in the NFL for the past 3 years without being very demanding, very detail oriented, and all that stuff, and enjoying the physical part of the aspects of the game. And I'm looking forward to it, man. Like D-Nice was talking about the defense being aggressive at every position, man. I'm looking forward to seeing the offensive line play aggressive, because they were passive as hell the past couple of years. We were just like soft, man. We were just soft, man. We weren't pushing guys around. We were getting in guys' ways, using our bodies to block people, man. I'm looking forward to seeing a physical brand of football again, man. A Chicago style football, man.
Yeah,
For sure.
me
For
too.
sure.
Me too. Man, look, we can go on and on and on and
All
on. I'm
day
here to tell
long.
you, man. I'm just excited, man. But tonight, man, for me, uh, was everything, man. Got a chance to chop it up with my man Sammo. We hadn't shared the
Sure.
screen in quite a while, man. So
Yeah.
Sammo, brother, thank you very much for coming out tonight. In actuality, looky here, man. I'm gonna extend the invite to you every Thursday night if you're available, man, or whenever you're available.
For
Come
sure, for
chop it up
sure.
with me and D-Nice, as well as my man Kez, the Canuck, baby. Man, brother, it was so good to see you, man. We haven't shared the screen together, man, in this type of setting in quite a while, man. So it was, man, really great to chop it up with you guys. And as always, my man D-Nice, you know how we do, baby, every Thursday night. You
For
know what I'm
sure.
saying? But look, man, I'm on record for saying it before. Before I said we didn't have no coaching. Now I'm going on record to say we got coaching. But more importantly, man, they're making moves that we haven't. We can honestly, I think everybody can walk around with their head held up high, saying that we actually have an offensive line. I know
Mhm.
everybody's like,
Yeah.
well, we still got to replace Braxton Jones. Looky here, does he have the trunk? No, he don't. But I think coaching is going to help that young man as well. And
Yes.
having an experienced guard next to him is going to really help him out a heck of a lot. So, you
Mhm.
know,
See,
I'm not
he was
ready to just throw the
starting,
towel in completely on him because, you know, to to have been a fifth round pick,
that's what
he's
I'm
really
not.
held his own. The last season and a half, where he had some little nicks and stuff to where it took him out and he hadn't been able to complete the seasons. I think, man, with the strength and conditioning coaches and everything that we now have in the building, I'm expecting to see a different Braxton Jones
Yeah.
as well. But
See,
I
I'm
want to
just worried
see us.
about the injury, dog. Is the only thing. You see what I
Yeah,
mean?
me too, kids.
That's the
Yeah,
only thing that
Yeah.
worries me about Braxton. I think Braxton's a fantastic talent. I think he has outplayed his draft stock by far. I think he's potentially, under normal pretenses, a starting caliber left tackle. Can you do better? Yeah, you might be able to. Maybe Karan is better. The verdict is still out because, again, he was just as
Yeah.
hurt last season and thrown to
yeah,
the wolves.
yeah.
So we really don't know. Regardless, I kind of think they're probably going to double down at that left tackle position in with either 39 or 41. That's my guess. I won't be mad at them if they do, but what that'll breed is competition at the position. So I'm
Competition,
all for it. I'm
depth,
all
which
for
is what we need. We
it.
need
Yeah.
depth. We need guys, man, that can honestly. I'm tired of having such a drop off between first string and second string to where it's like you biting your nails every Sunday hoping that nobody gets hurt. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
we know that injuries is part of the business. So we got to make
Yeah.
sure that we have guys that can step in and that drop off is not so significant to where we can survive, you know, two,
Mhm.
3, 4 games, 5 games for that matter, before a guy can return, because heck, man, we lose one guy, it was a wrap, and they shuffled the
Sure.
whole doggone offensive line. Nobody played a true position, you know.
Mhm.
That's why I
Hmm.
kind of felt for Tevin Jenkins, man. Granted,
Yeah.
he could never stay healthy, but when he was healthy, man, you know, and I honestly think, and I'm hoping that he gets an opportunity to maybe play right tackle again, just to see if he can
Even,
play
even
that position. But it's been so long since he's done it now that his best shot might be where he's at. And I think is with the Browns playing at
with a
guard.
good
But
team.
either way, I wish
Mhm.
him I wish him the absolute best, man, in terms of being able to have a long standing career, man. Because I liked Tevin Jenkins, man. He was the.
Me
I
Yeah.
mean,
too. He got
the
that
the
dog
only
in him.
dude that had some type of attitude on the
Yeah.
doggone offensive line. He was
Dog.
nasty when everybody else wanted to be
Yeah.
choir boys.
He got that
Yeah.
dog in him,
Yeah.
man. He just couldn't stay healthy, man. Unfortunately, man, it was just injured. He started his career with us injured too, man, which was kind of messed up,
Yeah.
man. It's just like he just never got his body in. fully healthy. I think, once you start compensating with your body, and one injury leads to another because you overcompensating and all that stuff. I feel like once he gets fully healthy, man, and strengthens his body again, Tevin gonna be a dog, man. Because he got it in him. We've seen it. It's just,
Yeah.
and then some of the little, his ankle getting rolled up on some of those little
Yeah,
random
yeah,
injuries,
Yeah.
really not on him too. It's just bad luck too, that's
right.
been
That too. Yeah,
beyond him too. So
yep. You
I
right
feel
about
like he
that,
needed
man.
that change of scenery, man. He may have needed that change of scenery, man. Clear his head and, man, get it out of his mental together. And, man, I think he's gonna be a good player in this league for years to come.
Wow, I didn't realize he went to the Browns. I'm just double checking. Okay, all right. I was worried about the young man.
So,
He hadn't gotten
so I
signed
was,
yet.
I didn't misquote, did I? I thought I saw
No,
it
you did.
earlier, man.
Nah.
And
Yeah,
I
You
thought
he
I
went
saw
to
that
the
earlier. So,
didn't.
yeah,
You
Yeah, it's good to see him land on his feet,
I'm
man.
yeah.
glad. I'm glad. I love that kid. All more power. All praises to Tevin Jenkins. Mad respect. Mad love. He will be a destructive force for offensive lines moving forward. I will say that now. It's just a question of staying healthy for him. So hopefully he continues down that healthy path and continues to do what he does best, man. Um, Love that kid, man. One of my favorite players on the Bears over the last few years, for sure.
For
yeah,
sure.
mine too. Well, hey, fellas, I want to thank you guys, man, for jumping on with me and D-Nice tonight, man. It's been a pleasure, man. I
Yeah,
really,
this has
really
been
thoroughly
fun.
enjoyed tonight, man.
So,
Especially Kez brought that extra energy, man, and we went on and decided to go another 45 minutes. So, Kez, thank you, man. And as always, you're always welcome as well, brother. You know that.
All
Yes,
right.
indeed.
D-Nice, my
Yes,
man,
indeed.
as always. Thursday nights, man. I look forward to them. You know what I'm saying? And Sammo,
Absolutely, man.
man, bro, to grace
chop it
the
up with you,
screen with
man.
you, man. You know,
Yes, sir.
my man, appreciate you for sure.
Yes, sir.
And
Appreciate y'all.
always to the chat, we want to, just thank you guys, man. Y'all been hanging in there with us all night tonight. Thank you so much. We do appreciate
Yeah.
it. Remember one thing: share this content. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. You know, so next Thursday, we don't know what's gonna happen between now and then, but we're gonna definitely be prepared. But more importantly, um, we probably will be here next Thursday. Who knows? We might come a little sooner, depending on if something big happens. But in the event that it does not, and it just be as usual on Thursday, come on and join me and D Nice. And you never know who might be that guest visitor with us. You know what I'm saying? You never know.
Absolutely.
And who knows
Never
what
know.
this might turn out to be as well. With that being said, the bishop is so glad to have his fellas with him. Everybody out there in the chat, I want to say thank you to you, but more importantly, thank you to everybody. And before I go, remember this, y'all. We are blessed to be a blessing. So tell your loved ones you love them, because one thing for sure, we ain't here to be here forever. So take time out, love your loved ones, kiss those that matter, and those that you done had some differences with, find some common ground. If nothing else, give yourself the opportunity to be able to move forward and get past it by forgiving.
Yes,
With that being said,
yes, indeed.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
out. And for the rest of the fellas, we will see you again real soon. Peace and love. Bear down.
Ooh.
Right down, y'all.